Hello, travelers. Yes, it's time to start. This time, I am streaming again, which is good because I keep doing bad at doing it. But here I am. It's Mothaween. Let's get spooky. Yes. Okay, well, let me hang on. So, Kami with the first. Kami, I'm not exactly sure how you keep getting first. Because you did that at like the exact second I went live, and so wild. And no, it is not a how-to, because he got caught, and also tiny dick bitch man. Yeah, we'll see. Hi Hydra, you're supposed to be here. Dan, thank you for coming. Poppy's here for a minute. I think he waits. I think you're right. I think you are right. But yes, thank you, Dan, for being here. Thank you, Poppy, for being here for a short time. This is most definitely a not Poppy safe stream, but I am happy to have you for the moments. Anyway, how y'all doing? How was everybody's Thanksgiving week if you celebrated? While I grabbed my projects. Hydra ate lots of food. Yes, I witnessed you eating lots of food and pie, and I concur. Ditto. Alright, let me see. Well, let's get started with Gavin Newsom. I believe so. Let me see, what did I do for Thanksgiving? Ate a lot of food. Tried not to fight family. You know, the usual. So, Fat Snake, yeah. I think they heard you pop that can, Hydra. Snossage, yeah. So, today, I decided to go rogue, because I'm a tired moth. I've had a long day at the moth cave. Kami wants a sip. What do you got?
Vanilla Coke.
It's orange creamsicle Coke, actually, that I bought for myself. Anyway. Because yeah, this snake, you're all welcome. Shut up. I have a V8 energy because I am a very tired moth. Because I worked too hard at the moth cave this week. Fine. I also have a ginger ale because, you know, tummy hurt. And ginger ale helps. And then I also have a water because I'm a good moth. Drinking water is good. So we know what Hydra's beverage of choice is for tonight, but what is everybody else's beverage of choice? Has anyone hounded Tori lately to make sure she's drinking her V8? You know what? No. Somebody message Tori right now and be like, hey, drink your fucking V8. Hydra is asking for sound checks, which I appreciate. I have fun announcements, actually, about that, so I need to make sure my audio is correct. Particularly background music. That's what I need to know. Any cahoodles. Good selection. Thank you, Poppy. I actually highly recommend V8 Energy. It's a really good source of not, like, crazy sugar caffeine. Like, it's definitely a lot better, in my opinion, than a Monster or a Red Bull. Because it only has a little bit of caffeine, and it has like juice and it's like only a bit of caffeine, so just enough to give you like a good little pep. Really? Yes. I like the peach mango personally, but it gives you steady energy. So it supports focus, combined serving of veggies and fruits, excellent source of vitamin B. And only 80 milligrams of caffeine, so about an extra cup of coffee. So it's not like, oh my god, caffeine! It's like, Hey, caffeine. I think it's really good if you can't drink coffee. Solid. Poppy has water. You always have water. I don't know how much water you drink, but you drink an obscene amount of water, Poppy. And honestly, good for you. Good for you. I can't drink as much water as you, but I try. You are goals. Your goals for drinking that much water. Anyway. Okay. Small penguin, large hydration. Yes. That is our Poppy. Okay. So I have big updates on my projects. Last time we were doing things, I was working on my shawl, which this is the shawl. She is getting big. She's getting ready, which actually is finally cold in Texas, so I can actually kind of use one of these, and of course it's only this big. I usually finish my 64-ounce bottle of Waha when I go to work. Jesus! Or when you work. Jesus, Kami, that's a lot of water. I usually only do, the bottles. How much are the bottles? Yeah, my brain's dying. My brain is, like, actively dying. Oh, I apparently drink about 67 ounces of water while I'm at work. So, oh. It looks soft. It is, Dan. It is incredibly soft. It is the Lions brand, feels like butter. And it is, like, soft and squishy. And you can't really see the texture very well, but it's so soft. Cold in Texas. It was -1 on my way to work today. Oh, Poppy. Oh. That's disgusting. Oh, that's terrible. It was 45 with, I think, 90% humidity, though. So it's like a cold, wet, like cold kind of wet. And it's the worst. You guys have a lot of snow up there, so I'm sure you know. I want 45. You can come on down here. It's okay. Come on down. We'll go ahead and we'll do a cafe here in Texas, and it'll be better than up there. On my way, bet. Hydra, we're gonna have a guest.
Okay.
You'll have to take the cats. Okay. So bye, Hydra. Anyway. So anyway, lots of progress on this. I'm very happy about it. I need to make more progress, obviously. But it's a solid start. I'm actually pretty proud of this, not gonna lie. It has become my new bag project, because I actually have room in my bag for a new project, so this is my new bag project. I always have, let me see, I always have a project next to my chair in the living room, a project here at my desk, a project in my bag, a project at work, and then a couple scattered around. Take that as you will. But the biggest update I wanted to share about my projects. Okay. So, does everybody remember my grandfather's blanket? I've been working on this for a very long time. So, I have a major update. Be big. So, I believe when we last left off 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go with 2 weeks ago. I was about here, roughly. So all of this has been done in the last 2 projects. Or the last 2 weeks. All of this. I am so proud of this. Yes, it looks ugly, but that's the point. This is leftover yarn from my grandmother's stash to give to my grandfather. So it means a lot. So the fact that I'm almost done with this is actually insane. Let me show you how much yarn. Poppy would wrap herself in that forever if you let her. You know, Dan, I think you're right. But let me show you the last bit. So I have this yarn, and then this is when I go into my fancy border. This is it. My last 2 pieces of regular yarn before I do a nice border. So, that's of course what we're working on tonight, and my fancy border. So, my grandmother, Graham, she did a lot of crochet, but she did a lot of really tiny crochet. So, this was her crochet of choice. I'm much more of a, like, big crochet kind of person. But she did this, like, itty bitty yarn. I believe this is called lace weights. I low-key wish I could sew just so I could make plushies. Dr. Kami. So she would use this itty bitty yarn to make the most adorable little things. Actually, Hydra. Can you get the little, footy sock?
What sock?
There's a little footy sock that I put on Graham's wall on one of her picture frames. So she would make things like this. It's a little booty. It's a little footy sock for a baby. And she made it using this like really small, thin yarn. She had so much grace with this. I don't have as much grace as she did. She was amazing, obviously. So the plan is that I'm gonna finish this, the regular yarn that I have into the blanket, and then I'm gonna try my damnedest to make a nice fancy little border using this really thin yarn. That's the goal. And she, of course, because this was her crochet of choice, she had a lot of this very thin yarn. So that is all going to go into this. Huge gift card for a fabric store for a moth. She's going to get that. Oh my god. Dude. I would love that. You have no idea. I think Hydra's actually done that a few times for my birthday. Yes. And I don't know how much he spent on me when he did that, but it was a lot.
Don't worry about it.
It was a lot. I know that. Just scarfing down cotton by the bolt. I think actually this is cotton. Moth can't eat yarn. She has to use it. Yeah, I stick to Dan's maid outfit. That's obviously way tastier. So, that is this project, and obviously we're going to work on this tonight. I need to get this done by, I think, his what? Yeah, you know, the maid cut. You know, it's fine. I actually got an update on my timeline. I've been informed that I need to get this done by the 19th. Today I learned silkworms are moth. Yes, and they die tragically before they get to become moths, but the silk is just so valuable. Anyway, so I have 2 weeks to finish this. Because we're doing Christmas a little early, so I have to somehow finish this. Now, granted, he's my grandfather. I don't think he's gonna mind if it's a little late. I don't think he's gonna care that much. But that doesn't mean that I still don't want to make sure it gets done. If I can get it done before then, I think he would really love it. If not, I'm sure he'll be just fine with getting it as soon as possible. So, he doesn't know that I'm making this, of course. Bro, what if we got Cozy a spider VTuber friend, free silk? I would actually really love that. I unironically really want alpacas just so that I can make my own yarn. And that... That's like a dream me and Hydra have talked about like 17 different times. We just want to... We'll keep it under wraps. Kami, shut up. Is that we really want like 2 alpaca and a little plot of land and a goat and a cow and a couple of chickens. Yeah. A couple of little mini Tories running around. You know what I mean. So, let me get my blanket in position so that I can actually work on it without dying. How about that? A goat, cow, yeah. Oh, and a donkey. Yeah, I forgot about the donkey. For sure, the donkey. Donkey protects everybody else. I want to pet the cow. You, of course, could pet the cow. Unless you found out you were allergic to with the cow, and then I'll give you a Benadryl first. But, oh yeah. So, the hook I am using right now for the regular yarn is going to be a 4.5. And the hook that I have to use for this very thin yarn is a 3.25. It is one of the smaller needles I have. It's very tiny. It's gonna be an event. I am going to be actively learning how to crochet this very tiny yarn. But I think Graham would really love that. I was learning something new for her husband and in honor of her. Alright. With that, we're about 22 minutes in. Let me see. Anything else? Oh, alright. Before Poppy needs to skedoodle, I have a couple of tiny announcements. Like realizing that I'm not actually in my chair. And I need to fix that. Guys, I'm a professional, I swear. Alright. Whoops. I've been there the whole time. Nobody's gonna talk about that. Okay. So, actual things. Besides my chair. She was hanging on the ceiling. It's fine. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening this whole time. Right? Okay. So. But, I have a couple of things. First thing is that today, my topic actually has some additional audio components. Oh, I thought it was intentional. It was intentional, Kami. What? I was on the ceiling. So it actually has some audio components for today. I actually have the 911 calls for this. For this case specifically, I have the audio, the phone calls, the 911 phone calls, and I will be playing them. I am incredibly excited about this. So I need to make sure that my audio is good. So if you guys can't hear, I need to find out right away. This is your guys' task. If you cannot hear the 911 phone call, please tell me so I can turn it up. Okay. Second announcement. I have changed the way my pictures are for my stream. So, you guys will actually be able to see a much bigger picture at first, and then I can move it down to the smaller picture, because, you know, I like having the small picture kind of just over there. Kind of just vibing. So, you will actually be able to see the picture a little bit bigger, so that you can see what's actually going on, and then it'll move to the side. And That took me some time today, and I'm very proud of myself. Because I'm a tired moth. And I thought that was very important. Alright. Let me see. Do we have anything else? EP insect. I am an EP insect. Alright, Poppy. I think it's time. We are headed into the not Poppy safe story as we get into it today. Poppy, I love you dearly. And you can message me later, as always. I love you. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Alright. We're gonna give her a minute. You know, you gotta close out the tab, and then you gotta make sure the thing is playing. It's like a whole event. Alright. I believe our Poppy, our darling Poppy, is gone for the day. So we can go ahead and get started. Alright. Let me turn down my audio in my ears, because I can't think if I hear music. It's really funny. Alright. So, today, we will be talking about... we're gonna go back in time. Not too far back, but a little bit back in time. To December 31st, 1981. In oh my god, I tried to say the word. Jesus. Rural Minnesota. Hey, if I just speed through it.
Country ass Minnesota.
Well, yeah. So, we are in Minnesota. We are in our little tiny city in Minnesota. And Karen Podak has just left her sister's apartment from a nice New Year's party. So she went there. She was having a great night. She was having a couple of drinks, vibing, enjoying the time. Let's go ahead and take a look at our dear Karen Podak, especially while I show you my new thing, huh? This is Karen Podak. And she is the first one that we are talking about tonight. So, she's walking down our Minnesota streets, just kind of hanging out. She's decided she's gonna head home. Her sister tells her, no, just wait, let me get you a taxi, you're a little drunk. She's like, nah, I got it, sis, don't worry about it. I'm just walking home. I mean, who's gonna be out just after midnight on New Year's Eve, right? Everybody's still at home. I'm gonna walk home. Don't worry about it. Karen is a little drunk, admittedly, and so she's walking a little funny. And... okay, guys, you're gonna have to bear with me. Bear with me. Bless you, Hydra. Okay, okay. Everybody, bear with me. We're gonna attempt to do this. We're doing the audio. Okay. And 911 receives this call at about 3 a.m.
Yes, please, this is an emergency. Please send a squad to Pierce Butler Road, Molenberg Manufacturing Company, machine shop. Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Just hurry, she's laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks, by the edge here. Hurry.
What's the address?
I don't know.
Who are you?
And that is the end of the audio clip. Could anybody hear that? We're gonna start with that. We could hear it? Was it perfectly audible?
Much louder.
Okay. The problem is that he speaks really quietly, so take that in consideration. Alright, let me move it back up. Anyway, okay. So, what you'll get from that conversation is that bitch boy over here sounds like a tiny ass bitch boy. He is whining, and what you should have heard, which is a little bit blurry obviously, is that Karen is found on Pierce Butler Road and Malberg Manufacturing Company machine shop, is what he says. Remember this. Put a pin in this and remember it. Malberg Manufacturing Company machine. Okay? Okay. So, police get this 911 call at about 3 a.m. and they rush down to that road. I'll be back. Okay, Dan. And they rush down to the scene and find Karen brutally beaten with a tire iron. They of course roll up on the scene, and they're like, it's bloody, it's sad, it's an event. Police get there, they just call the coroner because they're like, there's no way. Karen's skull has been beaten so badly that her skull is actually cracked and her brain is exposed to the cold, the snow. So they're just like, wow, well damn, can't believe that we've got a murder on our hands. It's terrible. And then Karen starts to move. And she starts to groan, and they're like, oh my god, she's alive. Call the ambulance, get her to the hospital, rush her in there, and she lives. By some miracle, she lives. Now, of course, she has had a lot of injuries. She has had to have surgery. So it takes a little bit before they can, like, talk to her. But once they were able to talk to her, she unfortunately has injury. Hey, Crow. How you doing? How you doing? How's Crow doing? Oh, it's a raid from Toast. Oh my god. Well, hi everybody. I'm Cozy Cryptids. I tell spooky stories. We are currently discussing the Weepy Voice Killer. I've just currently gotten into the first victim. Hi Toast. How was everything, Toast? How was your stream? And feel free, if you need to raid and dash, feel free. Hello the Des SCP. I made my holiday design. Ooh, you'll have to show me later. I would like a DM with the holiday design, please and thank you. If you guys don't know, it's really fun. Me and Toast are married through the internet. So I call them my spost because they're my spouse and they're Toast, so they're my spost. And they call me Love Bug, and it makes me really happy. Right, let me see. Where are we? So to recap for new people, so I tell spooky stories in my cabin, as you can see. We're currently talking about the first victim of the Weepy Voice Killer. This is my grandfather's blanket that I'm currently crocheting while I'm talking about this. Didn't miss much. Karen Poduk has just left her sister's apartment on New Year's Eve and was brutally beaten and somehow managed to live just by sheer will. This is also a picture of Karen in the corner. Anyway, so when the police were able to talk to her, they were shocked that she had been able to live, of course. But because of the amount of injuries to her skull, she actually couldn't remember who had attacked her. The last thing that she remembers is she remembers leaving her sister's apartment and walking down the road. Anything past that is completely gone. Which, you know, sucks in one way and is fabulous in another. it sucks because the police were like, oh my god, you lived. You're gonna be able to tell us who did this to you. You're gonna be able to give a description, and we're gonna catch them right away. One victim and done. So that sucks because she can't tell them anything other than she just remembers leaving the apartment, and that was it. And the next thing that she remembers is waking up in the hospital. But it's great because at least she wasn't left with this trauma of if she had seen everything, if she had remembered every single blow, it would have been absolutely traumatizing. So that's a really good thing. She missed out on that. And I am very happy for her for that. It just also is like a, damn, we don't know who did this. Alright. So, this is... So that's Karen. That's Karen's story. And that's where we're currently gonna leave Karen. We have talked about Karen's story. We will come back to her eventually. But, so, we are moving on to our next person, who is, let me get this, who is currently, so that is Karen, and this is Kimberly Compton. Alright, so our dear Kimberly, look at her, she's very young. She had just turned 18 years old in this picture. This, I believe, is her high school picture. And she had just decided to move from Wisconsin to Minnesota. She was wanting a new fresh start, so she decided that she was gonna go to a new state. She was gonna do something kind of cool and fun. She was very excited. And so, June 3rd, she arrives on the bus from from Wisconsin to Minnesota, and she has no idea anything about Minnesota. All she knows is that she needs to find a place to stay and she needs a job. And that is when police receive this phone call. Give me just a minute. When the police receive this phone call.
You find me? I just stabbed somebody with an ice pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody. Yes, please. This is.
And that is the phone call that they receive. So basically what he says in that is that he says, hey, please, I've just killed somebody. Come and find me. Please, I can't stop myself. So they're like, okay. Well, this is fun. That we have some crazy guy calling 911 saying that he killed somebody. Well, you know, whatever. And a couple of days later, Kimberly's body was found in a construction highway-like field with 61 stabs with an ice pick. Not exactly a small amount of stabs. And with that, they find 42 stab wounds. I can hear you typing, so I know you're going to explain. It's an old me. Don't worry. Thank you. Okay. So, they find her. She is, of course, has just turned 18. This is a tragedy. And the only thing that they could find on her body is a bus key. So I don't know how many of you guys have traveled by bus. But when you do travel by bus, there's an option for a locker. You'll see them in like a gym, airports, sometimes, stuff like that. the little locker you put your stuff in, and you lock your stuff away while you go and do stuff. So, all they find on Kimberly's body is a ski. She does not have any identification. So they take that key, they go to the bus station, unlock the locker, they find her ID, her bags, everything like that. So they decide, okay, well, clearly she had just come in from on the bus. Let's talk to some people. So they talk around to a couple of people who were there, and they say that, oh yeah, Kimberly, yeah, I remember that young chick. She was super pretty. Yeah, she had just come off of the bus, and she had gone to get some dinner. And, she was talking to this guy. And the police are like, okay, this guy, got it. More words would be nice about that, but okay. They do check the contents of her stomach, of Kimberly's stomach, and it is for sure that she had like a burger and some fries. And it didn't have very much time to digest, which means she literally got off of the bus, went to go get something, like put her stuff in the locker, went to go get something to eat, and then died. Was killed. And that is her entire time in Minnesota. Couple of hours. So, but other than that, it's a complete mystery of who this guy is, what's going on, no information. And that is when police then receive another phone call from our favorite person. Let me go ahead. Let's just preempt. Yeah, there we go.
Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton. I couldn't help it. Don't know why I had to stab her. I am so upset about it. I keep getting drunk every night. I can't believe it. It seems like a big dream. I can't think of being locked up. If I get locked up, I'll kill myself. I'd rather kill myself than get locked up. I'll try not to kill anybody else.
So, the basics for that one is that this mystery person has now admitted that they have killed somebody. They have killed Compton, because her last name was Kimberly. Her last name was Compton. And that they're very sorry, and that they're very beaten up about it, and that they just can't help themselves. Tiny ass bitch. Ugh. Disgusting, vile human. Anyway. So, they say that basically they're so sorry, they'll try not to do it again. They're so beaten up over it. So at least they know that somebody has done this, and they recognize the voice as the same as the one from, December 31st. And they recognize it and go, okay, so this is the same person. So this person has now killed 2 people and has called into 911 to basically confess that they have done this. So, we gotta keep an eye out, see what we can do. Of course, they're trying to find him. And they're hoping that the voice is so unique, because it's so high-pitched and whiny and tiny bitch babiness, that they're hoping somebody would recognize this. They do release it to the press, hoping that somebody would be able to go, ah, yes, I know that voice. That's the voice of Bob at my company. When he gets really stressed out, he sounds just like this. And the press has dubbed him as the Weepy Voice Killer. I would have called him the tiny dick bitch baby, but that's me. So, next thing that we have. So this is in June. They're trying to find him. No leads have come in from the releasing of the audio clips of 911. Nobody's hearing anything. And then this is a tiny break, and this is a break from what he usually does. So we're gonna bring this up. This is Kathleen Greening. And she was found July 21st, 1982, drowned in her own bathtub. Now, this is where everything kind of diverts. It was not connected to the Weepy voice killer until much later, but this makes sense in the line of, like, in the timeline, okay? So, she was found drowned, but there was no phone call that connected. Now, this is the Weepy voice killer, like, MO, right? He kills or tries to kill, calls 911, admits it, tries to tell them where the body is, or calls to admit his guilt and how sad he feels about this, which if you are sad about it, just don't do it. But that's just me. So, but just keep this one in mind, because it's there. It's in the timeline. Still feel very bad for her. And then we have one last call to the police on August 8th. And ready to go. So that you can hear. Alright. And here we go. So the police received this phone call on August 8th, 1982.
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one. Over safe. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm gonna kill myself, I think.
Where are you?
I'm just gonna... if somebody dies with a red shirt on, it's me. I killed both of you. I'm sorry. I'll never make it to heaven.
Calm down. Calm down.
Now, so that's the next call that they get, and police are stumped because they don't know what he's talking about. He just says that he killed somebody and that he stabbed them a lot and that he's so sorry about it, that he confessed that he's the same person who killed Kimberly Compton. Sorry, I'm taking a sip. Crazy how this kept happening, right? So, police are completely stumped because we now, of course, we know that this is what he does. This is his MO. He says he's killed somebody. We've now connected it to other murders. And he says that if you find somebody with a red shirt on, it's him. He's killed himself. And police are just kind of like, okay. Well, that's nice. I guess we'll wait. So, of course, they try to do a basic hunt, try to find somebody who's gotten killed. Because, so far, when this guy calls, there is a body, so, okay, they can't find anything. And with that, I'm going to take a tiny break to rest my voice for just a moment and to get up and maybe go to the bathroom. So we're going to take a tiny break. And then we will continue on after this and we'll talk about what happened. So give me just a moment. Go ahead and head to our BRB screen. Y'all are getting kicked out of the cabin for just a moment. Alright, and I will see you guys in just a moment. Alrighty, we are back. Back. Back on. Alright. So, when we left off, we're gonna come back to it, and, so, police have received the usual 911 phone call from our Weepy voice killer saying, hey, I have killed somebody, but the problem is that they don't have a body, and they don't know what he's talking about, other than the fact that he says he's gonna kill himself. But he didn't even have the balls to do that. So, they're kind of lost. And what the police don't know, the police that got the phone call, they're searching around trying to figure out in the city. But what they needed to do was to talk to a couple of other people. So, they needed to talk to a couple of other police departments. But of course, at this time, the communication between police departments isn't really a big thing. But if they had talked to police departments, different police departments, the police would know that, that Barbara Simmons was found on August 6th, 1982, on the other side of the river. And she had been stabbed over 100 times. So if you look at our victims here, So we have Karen, who has been brutally beaten with a tire iron. We have Kimberly, who's been stabbed with an ice pick. And we have Kathleen, who's been drowned in a bathtub. And now we have Barbara, who has been stabbed 100 times. So her body was found near the river. A couple of boys had found her body a couple of days before the police call. So that means that the Weepy voice killer had a couple of days to build up the guilt. So we've got like a very guilty killer here. Somebody who's very upset about it and somebody who's emotionally distraught about his decisions. Which, if you're gonna... Look, I get having a lot of emotions, but you could have just ordered an emotional pizza and everything would have been fine. You didn't need to do this. You get my point? So, they're like, well, damn. Eventually, what happens, though, is that this police department from the other side of the river does contact the police department on this side of the river where the 911 call was received. But here's the thing, is that this police department went to go investigate Barbara's death because, you know, stabbing, that's obviously homicide. And what they had found was that on August 5th, so the night before she died, they had talked to her friends and stuff like that, and one of her friends said, yeah, Barbara, yeah, no, of course, she's like one of my best friends. We went out drinking that night, and she went home with somebody. And the police are like, oh, she went home with somebody. Oh, okay, do you know who it was? Do you know anything about this? Because this is a very good lead. And she goes, yeah, so she met a man, and, I remember what she said when she left. She said, he's really cute, I hope he's nice, because I just need to get a ride home. So Barbara that night had gone out on a girls' night, and she needed a ride home, and she had hitched a ride with this guy. And police are like, oh my god, okay, so this is the last person who saw her. Do you recognize him? And she goes, yeah, it's Paul Stefani. That's who it is. That's the last man that was the last person that Barb had been seen with. So, let's get into this. Who in the hell is Paul Stefani? So Paul Michael Stefani was born September 8th, 1944, which is unfortunate for everybody. He was the second out of 10 children. 10 children. Second. His mother had gotten divorced at a very young age. Yes, that is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Nobody needs 10 kids, just saying. So, his mother and father had gotten divorced at a pretty young age, or like when he was pretty young. And his stepfather was known to have a pretty bad temper. This is where your nature versus nurture kind of kicks in here. Which, if you don't know, the nature versus nurture argument, basically it's the question of a killer is the nature side of it. So is it they've had a mental disorder problem that causes them to kill? Or is it the nurture? They had family that abused them, and this caused a lot of damage to them, emotional damage, which makes them a killer. This is your nature versus nurture. Now, Stefani's stepfather had this fun little trait where he would beat the living snot out of his stepchildren and throw them down the stairs. Just in case we didn't hear it, throw them down the stairs. So that's where your nurture for sure comes in. And the nature is that he apparently had some brain damage due to the, you know, being tossed down the stairs thing. So this is Paul. He's been abused. He's tried to live as best as he can with his bad stepfather, etc., etc. But he grew up, became a big boy, and married a woman named Beverly Jean Linder on June 20th, 1970. And their marriage lasted exactly 5 years. Way to go, Bev, honestly, because Beverly just managed to escape a little bit of whatever the hell. So, actually, let me see if I can pull up. Okay. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't pull up a picture of Stefani quite yet. You'll just have to believe me what this man looks like. He is a sad little man. And him and Bev, his wife, have one daughter before they divorce 5 years later. Wife spotted. Hi, Ella. Hi, my wifey poo. How you doing? I'm currently talking about the Weepy voice killer. We're currently talking about the actual killer. Good. How are you? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. I'm talking about a serial killer for the first time on my stream. I'm very excited. Puts in pocket. Any cahoodles. So, Paul had worked as a I too kill cereal. I literally had a bowl of cereal for dinner. Especially Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yes. That's the only answer. That's the best answer, actually. That's the only correct answer. Granted, I did have a bowl of Cheerios, but I'm being heart healthy. It was girl dinner, actually, because I had a big lunch and I just wasn't really feeling like having dinner. And I think, Hydra, what did you have? You had pie.
Red pie.
You had pie for dinner, which is just boy dinner. And hoodles. So, let me see, where were we? Snake dinner, yeah. Okay, so Paul has grown up being beaten the snot out of, gets married when he's older, gets divorced 5 years later, has one daughter. He is working as a janitor for a company called Malberg Manufacturing Company Machine Shop. Now, my travelers, do we remember what this is? Okay. So, this place is important because his first victim, Karen Podak, I remember. Karen Podak was found just outside of the building. I was not told there'd be a test. Yes, I will be testing you actually about this later, so it's unfortunate if you missed any of the stream. There will be a test directly after this. So, Malberg Manufacturing Company is exactly where the first victim was found. This is 60% of your grade, and you fail. Yes. Oh, I would go back real quick and try to like catch up to you know, see if you could get Hydra to send you his notes. So Malberg Manufacturing Company, that is where he worked for a long time. Please, Dr. Professor, I'll do anything to pass. Well, if you'll continue being my wife, I'll see about it. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, so he worked at this place as a janitor because he couldn't get a job anywhere else. Oh, hey, quick reminder that if you want to cheat on the test, you can rewatch the stream on Cozy's YouTube channel. Hey, YouTube channel. I'm currently streaming on YouTube as well as Twitch because diversity is a good idea. You can also follow my YouTube and watch any of my VODs there. Ha ha ha. I'm going to talk to the dean about this blatant favoritism. I mean, Kami, you're so good. Kami, the favoritism only comes in because I fully expect that you're paying attention. Just saying. Also, thank you, Hydra, for the YouTube link. I appreciate it. Because, Kami, you're a note taker. I assume you already remembered about the Malberg Manufacturing Company from Karen Podak's conversation. If only the YouTube was in the About section. I'm working on it. Give me some time. I've only been doing this for a little bit. But it is on my list. Thank you for calling me out on that. Okay, so because he couldn't get a job anywhere else, he worked as a janitor here at Malberg Manufacturing Company. Which seems kind of weird because of that, the first assault was there, just saying. And he was fired from his job just 2 years after he got divorced from Bev in 1977. I believe he was fired for just not being a very good employee and kind of freaking people out. Which, when you see his face, you'll understand why he was just a little freaky deaky. I don't like him. So, now we have this. So we know that Barb was last seen with Paul Stefani. We know that Paul Stefani is currently single and cannot hold down a job. And when you look at him, you'll go, yeah, this makes sense. So, where does this lead us? So, because this looks like that Paul Stefani is probably most definitely the killer of at least Barbara, why do I keep forgetting their name? I feel terrible every time I do that. Barbara Simmons, who is this woman down here. So they're pretty sure that he killed her. They're not really sure about everybody else, but you have to keep in mind that, they got the phone calls. It kind of matches up with everybody else. Because that's his MO. Kills them, makes a phone call a couple of days later. So they decide to monitor Paul. Because they're like, hey, this fuckface ain't too bright. So we're going to go ahead and monitor him and see what he does. So they actually start following him, and on August 21st, 1982, he loses the police follow. The police can't find him. He literally goes from being on their radar and everybody watching them to just going and disappearing. So police are just kind of like, well, shit. So they're trying to find him. What they don't know is that Polly Boy had gone to the red light district and picked up a lady of the night. If you get my meaning, a woman to spend company with for some time, named Denise Williams. And let me see, I can put Denise right here. These pictures are not great. You just have to forgive me for this. But this is Denise Williams. She is the person that Polly Boy picked up that night to have a good time. So Denise got into his car because that's what they had agreed, and had gone to his apartment to do the deed after agreeing on the price and everything like that. And Polly Boy was taking her back to the red light district where he picked her up. So they're driving around, and Denise is sitting there. She knows the area. She grew up in the area. She knows the area. And she's going, this is taking a little bit too long. Polly Boy is taking a wrong turns, going, oops, so sorry. And she's just kind of sitting there going, something's not right. This doesn't feel correct. Something's wrong. So she's sitting there, she's looking, and she's like, I something's wrong. And she sees at the bottom of the baseboard that there's a beer bottle, like a glass beer bottle. And she thinks to herself, like, okay, if this doesn't go well, there's at least the beer bottle down there, and, you know, if he's gonna try taking me out, then I'm gonna make sure that he gets taken out with me, if you get me. So she's sitting there, she's trying to come up with this plan, and that's when Polly stops the car in an alleyway with the doors locked. And he pulls out a screwdriver and begins stabbing Denise 15 times. Denise is now fighting for her life, trying to survive from this screwdriver attack from this idiot. And she reaches with her one hand, holding him back with the other, trying to save herself. She grabs the beer bottle and bashes him in the face with it. And just starts going. Just boo, 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 boo. Just trying to hit him. Anything to get him off of her. And she is screaming her head off, as you would. And she is trying to get anybody in. She's just trying to live. Now, a passerby hears the screams and goes and tries to help her. So he, tries to open the door, gets her out. And, they're both, now you've got this random stranger and Denise fighting off Polly. They are trying anything to get him away. And eventually fought off Polly. So Denise is now outside of the car. She's been stabbed 15 times. The guy who came for aid rushes her to the hospital. And the hospital's like, what the hell happened? You got stabbed? That's a little crazy. She explains the whole thing. She says that she doesn't know the name of the John, but that, this is what happened. And that she's been stabbed, and the police are now like, oh my god. Okay. And by her account and the account of the Good Samaritan, they're like, this dude's got a pretty busted face. We're gonna go ahead and take a look around for him. And we're gonna notify hospitals in the area. And be like, hey, be on the lookout for somebody with a busted face. Because that's probably gonna be our guy. So they wait. Denise gets the help that she needs. She survives. And the police are now on a hunt. Now, this call isn't recorded. But Polly goes back home. He's hurting. He's got an owie on his face. It's like a boo-boo, and it really hurts. So he calls 911 for medical help, and says that his name is Paul Stefani, and he got attacked, and his face hurts. He's got a boo-boo on his face. And 911 is going, yeah, interesting. You got a busted ass face? Would your busted ass face happen to correlate with Denise's accounts of where she busted your face? And gosh, you sure do have a high-pitched, whiny voice, don't you, Mr. Paul? So they tell Paul to go to the hospital. Don't you worry about it. they'll go ahead and help you there. And who stumbles into the hospital with a busted ass face other than our Polly Stefani, our little Polly boy with a busted nose and a busted face. And the police go, "Thank you so much for turning yourself in. We're gonna go ahead and arrest you right now." He's in complete shock because he feels like he didn't do anything. What? What are you talking about? And they go, yoink, and go ahead and arrest him. Denise, of course, is like, "Yep, that's the guy who stabbed me 15 times and tried to kill me." And his ex-wife, his sister, and his best friend all testify that he is the Weepy voice killer. They go, "Oh yeah, that's Polly's I'm in distress voice. That's definitely him." And while in jail, so of course he goes to trial, he gets immediately convicted because that's just a little bit too many people saying that you did something. And in jail he confesses. He's like, "Yep, I did all of that." Just to remind you, he says that he killed Karen, Kimberly, Barbara, and he attempted to kill Denise. And oh, look, this is his little sad arrest picture. Isn't that funny? He's very upset in this one. I don't know if you can tell. This is the same, at the same time that he was arrested. And, yeah, he looks like he would be the Weepy voice killer because the man looks fucking pathetic. Little man, baby, bitch boy. So, he was, of course, sentenced to 58 years for a murder. And by that time, so he was 38 at the time of his arrest. And it would have been about 96 at the time of his release. So he was going to be in there, in jail for a nice... Hey, Rick! How you doing? How you doing? I'm finishing up the Weepy voice killer. We're talking about his arrest and all of that fun stuff. So come and vibe and hang out. I could do a tiny recap if you would like. But long story short, so he would have been 96 at the time of his release. So he would have been put away for a nice long time. As he should have. But, of course, life is not fair. So he was diagnosed with a skin cancer in 1997. And called police. And called the, like... Yeah, called police. And was like, "Hey, I should come clean. I should come clean all together." And the police are like, "Okay, what would you like to come clean about?" And that is when he comes clean about Kathleen's drowning. He's the one who did it, and he did not call 911, which is a complete break from his MO. So they're not even sure if he did it. But he has too many details for it to not be him. As in, he knows how the apartment looked, how she was positioned, how her body was positioned, how she was drowned, everything. Which is why I was like, it's important to note that she was killed by him. But because there was no call, it's a little bit out of the ordinary. He clearly, like, had his method, but this was a break from the method. So, he confessed to that. And then he died in 1998. Which is a tragedy that he didn't get to live out his sentence. Or he didn't get Dahmered. I think that would have been the better option, but it's fine. Fine. He's gone. And at least the family's got some justice, and at least Denise Williams absolutely was a badass and got this little shithead arrested. For smashing him with a beer bottle, man. He looks fucked up from that. Let me see. And that is technically the story of the Weepy Voice Killer. So overall, he didn't have like a ton of victims. Let me see how many victims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 5 victims. 2 of which lived, which is great. Very sorry to the other 3 who did not. So he isn't the most notable killer. I've heard only a few people talk about this, and a lot of the times when I've heard people talk about the Weepy Voice Killer, they really kind of deep dive into his mental stuff, and I don't know. I think he's just a little shitty man. I don't think his motive was per se against women per se, because he was actually very good friends with his mother. He loved his mother. It didn't seem like a creepy mother obsession. It was really kind of more of a, I really like my mom. She's done great things. Yay. I just think he got bored of his life that was not going the way it was supposed to. And I think he just killed, and then I don't think he could stop past that. Now, there is an argument that maybe he had a dual personality, you know, the side of the killer and then the side of the regret. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do my travelers think? But I don't know. I think he was a big shitty bitch boy. Whose life didn't go the way he wanted, so he kind of destroyed it. Bitch boy. Thank you, Hydra. He's like the ultimate bitch boy to me. Because I feel like if he had ordered emotional pizza, he would have been fine. But he didn't. And, you know, my heart goes out to the family of the victims, of course. That's just terrible. After this, so let me go ahead and take little tiny bitch boy off of the screen. He was also short and short in more ways than one, apparently. If you get my drift. So I think that didn't help anything at all. Alright. Let me see. So that's all I have for tonight. Good hour and 23 minutes. That's pretty good for a stream, I would say. Especially for coming back after 2 weeks. Oops. And actually, I'm gonna need to talk to a couple of people about what my next story is going to be. I have about 3 stories like kind of prepped and ready. I will actually be working on a couple of others. Maybe you guys can help me with that real quick. So my next couple of topics that I wanted to research was going to be David Bowie. And talk about his fun times with the occult, because he did have a very interesting history with the occult. Or I was going to talk about the Cecil Hotel. Those were the 2 stories that I was thinking about researching. Do we have any opinions? Either David Bowie or the Cecil Hotel of what I might research next. And I might do one of those topics next time. I'll have to ask you guys on Twitter. Or X, whatever you want to call it. The site formerly known as Twitter. And with that, I guess I should find someone to raid. Hydra, is there anybody? I'm thinking Fran. If I am incorrect, is Hollow streaming? Hollow is streaming. Then yes, let's do hello. Okay, give me just a minute to get everything set up. We're gonna go ahead and raid Hollow. And can you do a raid message for me, please? Cozy raid? Yes, thank you. Alright, everybody. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
Okay.